here to share with you lessons, business lessons learned from the horse. I bought my first horse and I dreamed of riding off into the sunset. Well, my horse had other ideas. In fact, he tried to hurt me often. But battered and bruised, I still love that guy. So how could I get that partnership that they talked about, that true unity that Roy Rogers and Trigger and Dale Evans and Buttermilk had? Then I realized just because you buy a horse, it doesn't mean he's yours. So everything I was learning from natural horsemanship started to spill over, I have to say learning from my horse, started to spill over in both my personal and professional business life. In fact, my business life was flourishing exponentially, both in mental and emotional satisfaction and unprecedented revenue growth. At that time, I was running a division for a Fortune 500 company that was generating $40 million a year, and I turned it into their world's largest division, generating over $500 million a year. I was happy, and my team was happy. So how can a horse teach that, you're probably asking yourself? Successful business today is a lot like riding a horse, complete with its ups and downs and crazy wild rides. And as the rider, you lead your organization or team. You have to make decisions that affect both your professional and personal life. So the emphasis is really on learning to thrive rather than to simply survive in all of this. And then that expands the potential of your organization and your team. Fundamental task of a leader is to make those they lead feel good. So you want to give praise, celebrate success, offer support, be empathic, which is understanding with your heart, and you want to smile and laugh. Laughter is the sure sign that you have people's hearts and minds engaged. So take the time it takes to build that foundation of heart and desire authentically. Now, opportunity is disguised as challenge. And again, have you ever seen someone, maybe in the movies, trying to catch a horse, running around a field with a rope and halter in their hand? Yeah, okay, well, I'm embarrassed to say, but at one time that was me. Yes, I would go to the barn and out into the field with my rope and halter and spend, it could have been maybe hours, chasing my horse around, trying to catch him so we can go have fun for the day. Well, I would have to call it a day sometimes, and that was it. But I said, giving up is not an option. I love this guy, and no matter what, we were going to ride off in the sunset like Roy and Trigger. So, how many of you ever had trouble catching a client or getting someone to be willingly cooperative? Yeah, see, right? I see head shaking. Well, if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And that's what the opportunity or the challenge is all about. I had to stop looking at what everyone else was doing and stop doing what everyone else was doing. So, how did I catch my horse? It's very simple. I threw away the rules and regulations. I went to the middle of the pasture and I lied down, and he caught me. Game over. Respect and trust those are the most important feelings a horse can have towards a human. And it's the foundation of every great relationship. The alpha horse in the herd is respected and trusted and looked to for leadership. So how do you find that respect, get that respect and trust? Well, Sunday was the group trail ride at the barn. And every Sunday, I would go on a wild rodeo bucking bronco ride, never knowing if it was going to be my last day ever. So clearly, my horse did not respect me. Something was wrong. He would do whatever he could to get me off his back, and that often included ditches and trees. So sure, I was the leader. I was putting the saddle on him. I was taking him out and leading him down the trail. What could be better? Sunshine, nature, camaraderie with the other horses, right? That was on my agenda. I failed as a leader I failed to look at his emotions and see where he was coming from. I failed to empathize. And that resulted in his frustration turning to frustration to rage, and rancor to rage. I mean, it was crazy. I could tell you stories about those ditches. So anyway, being so out of touch with him, I said, it's time to regroup. And how did I regroup? I put myself in my horse's shoes. Why is he doing this? How do they think? How do they act? I had to learn to be a prey animal, just like a horse, in order to become a resident leader. So to become a resident leader that your horse needs or team needs, you're going to need to overcome your judgment about your horse's actions, your impatience, which is hard, your direct line thinking, and more importantly, not making your agenda more important than your horse's needs. So when you learn that you can consistently do this, you're going to move up on that ladder one more rung to the leadership, the type of leader that your horse or your team respects and needs and deserves. Now, you could call horses masters of mindfulness. They use their animal wisdom, their keen sense of smell, hearing, their body awareness, their self-awareness, and their vigilance to keep themselves safe. They're fully in the present moment, and they have no judgment, they don't hold on to the past, and they don't project into the future. They are here now. You see, horses are prey animals, and as a prey animal, they're hunted for food. So they have to be focused on the here and now. They need us to be our best selves all the time. And how? The power of focus. My mantra to achieving focus is a little bit simple. It's be here now, moment by moment. Try to stop that mental clutter in your head that's saying, oh, what kind of chores do I have to do this afternoon? And try to put your energy, your emotions, your thought into what you are doing right this second, right now. Communication is an exchange of two or more individuals sharing an understanding or idea. And did you know that about 60 to 90% of that communication is nonverbal? And horses are the most gifted teacher in nonverbal communication. And rather than sending words to each other when they're out in the fields and the herds so that their predators know where they are so they can find them for dinner, they've learned to use their body language, nonverbal language, to communicate. So everything they do, from a swish of a tail to a blink of an eye to a good swift kick, means something. And listening is one of the most important skills you can have in communicating. Listening. So you can listen through observation, the nonverbal cues. And by developing your awareness of the sights and sounds of body language, you can more easily understand people, and then you can more effectively communicate with them. And the way to improve your listening skills is to practice active listening. And this is where you make a conscious effort to try to understand the complete message that's being sent. And in order to find that, you have to pay attention to the other person. You can't allow yourself to drift off and wander about, your chores for the afternoon. You can't start forming counter arguments in your mind or opinions. You really have to focus on what the other person is saying.